2 episodes remain. It is kind of a shame I don't have the time to get through season 2. Because I'd really like to get this show out of my fucking life. Who knows though, maybe after 40 episodes it gets good. I think that really puts it into perspective. Eris is already way too fucking young for him to be having any sort of romantic thing with. And then, oh my god. God, that's gross. Also, I feel like RGB waifus is dumb. What?
Wait!
Oh, is he having an it's all a dream moment? Huh. Okay.
Are you all right?
That 1 minute and 40 seconds has done a better job of making this show interesting than 21 goddamn episodes! If that type of stuff was the focus of the show, and not an adventure I really don't have any attachment to, with shallow characters, I hate that this show basically pretends to make his original life matter. 'Cause they'll show it, but that amounts to a 3-second long clip where he looks mildly panicked or distraught, and then that's all they do with it. And if they intend to go somewhere with it, why the fuck is it taking this long? This would be like if episode 13 of ReZero happened in the first 5 episodes, and then you didn't get episode 18 until halfway through season 2, or maybe even later. If you want me to feel like this matters, go somewhere with it. Do something. Don't focus on an adventure that I don't fucking care about. Nothing is interesting about this adventure. The goal isn't interesting. The character interactions aren't interesting. Nor do they add to the characters, nor do they develop the characters in any substantial way, nor are they entertaining to watch. Frieren is almost exclusively adventure. But 1, it's funny. 2, the character dynamics are more appealing. 3, the characters are more interesting. 4, Frieren is actually an interesting character to follow, and regularly you see the updates and improvements on her as a character and the developments that she gets. And you want to see the other characters develop. And an adventure isn't interesting when the characters are shallow. Ruijerd last mattered like 13 episodes ago. That was the last time he did anything of fucking substance. Eris I've bitched about for the past 10 episodes now. And if I'm bitching about the character in the same way for that long, it's a fucking problem. Rudy is the only one of this trio that has any level of interesting facets to his character. And they're not focusing on that part of him. They're focusing on the part that I fucking hate about him.
The Superb's poor reputation is actually due to a curse. Laplace transferred his own curse to his spears, and when he gifted those to the Superb...
And I suppose everything we've done has been for naught.
But the man god did say, unlike most curses, this one is fading.
What?
Okay.
You still carry
So-
a bit of it, but...
Well, in theory, I think that's an interesting concept. Blaming racism on a literal curse is a little bit fucking questionable, and is not a great handling of the concept. Now, Has almost any Japanese work of fiction handled race with the proper tact? No. But that doesn't really excuse this one from being the same. When you make it not people's fault for being racists, what kind of message are you trying to get at there? If it was like a specific military group or a specific town of a larger people or anything like that, it's not a problem anymore. When it's the entire species or race, are you seeing why that might be a problem? I can't believe it took 22 fucking episodes for Rudy to open up about any of this stuff to someone else. And it was only after they almost got killed by someone who knew something about that stuff, and then he was prodded for answers. Want more ReZero comparisons? I want to say episode 7 of season 1 is when Subaru first tries to talk about stuff with other people. And it's when the show reveals that it's really fucking good because it completely restricts the main character in that regard. In other shows like this or other isekais or Steins Gate or anything where the main character has knowledge of the events of the story that other people lack, if the only reason they don't say anything is just because of how outlandish it is, I feel like that's not great writing. Because it means none of the people around them are very good friends. Friends will absolutely go after each other for various kinds of weird things they might say, but if someone is in a legitimate panic and seems traumatized over something that seems kind of bizarre, you might have doubts at first. After a few more explanations or more instances of that panic or distress, you start to realize they might be telling the truth, or they're schizophrenic, one or the other. And frankly, I feel like in a setting like this, the former is the more likely. And I feel like removing that sense of isolation, or worse yet, making it be isolation by choice, I think massively lowers the sympathy I hold with the protagonist. Because, yes, some people would doubt you. The people who you rely on in life or death scenarios shouldn't be doubting you on this kind of stuff. Yeah, not only is Subaru not being able to say anything about it great for his character development and lead to some very impactful moments, but, I mean, it sidesteps the issue of a character like Rudius who knows a lot of stuff that they just don't bother to share with anyone. What if other people reincarnate into this world? It's not like he would know if he didn't bring it up. Why would people regularly bring that up in conversation? Or the man god, how does he know other people aren't experiencing that? I mentioned Steins Gate because it's kind of a similar problem. It'd be like if ReZero didn't have Subaru's restriction on speaking. I like Steins Gate and exclusively in the visual novel format, but that was always something that bugged me with it. But, I mean, a better example of this kind of thing would just be any fucking other isekai in the world. Now, not all of them need to. I think No Game, No Life, that doesn't really matter. The Sora and Shiro don't really care at all about their old life. And it doesn't even really matter. They didn't do anything of substance, and it doesn't change how their relationships might be. Rimuru doesn't really matter a ton in the new context of everything that's happening with them. Ainz, I feel, is an interesting case where he's partially hiding it, but only to fit in with the outside world that he knows is unaware of a lot of this stuff. Meanwhile, openly presenting himself as part of the guild that he was a part of. Yeah, Ainz is a very interesting case in this regard, but characters having information that could be useful to discuss with others that they just hide just because, that really frustrates me. Especially since, at the very least, bouncing this kind of stuff off of Ruijerd to just get some better idea of what might be happening in regards to reincarnation or the man god, like, that would be a worthwhile way to spend your fucking time. Especially if you're not just going to ask the man god for answers.
Cutting your hair helped.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could appreciate the moments when Rudy's is happy about certain things or when he does good things, but the problem is that he's not a good fucking person. So him being happy about good things happening or him doing good things often feels out of character for him. Because in any scenario that involves anything sexual, he's a horrible fucking person with no sense of morality. I think it's funny. I don't know if I've made this comparison yet, but Mineta from My Hero is one of the most hated characters in the anime community. Rudius is worse than Mineta, has few redeeming qualities, and is defended way more often.
If we ever run into Orsted again, I want to know I can at least get away from him.
He was walking away from you. You actively attacked him. Am I misremembering that? 20 minutes. Let's go. It took me the length of the episode to get to the fucking intro. So what destroyed the village?
Oh, you done?
So was it the Mon disaster that destroyed the village? Or did something else? Because it's not like we see what happens to anything when it gets engulfed by that pillar. Like, we don't see it destroy houses. And I feel like if it did destroy physical objects, the entire house would be gone. Not just partially. So, like, did it summon, like, demons or something? Or I know Paul mentioned that it was destroyed. I don't remember if he explained anything about how.
Mother, I made a new friend today.
I'm always thrown off when it seems like he actually cares about his family in this world. Because his blatant disregard for them since the Mon disaster happened, I'm completely with Paul. It seemed like he didn't give a damn. Yeah, okay.
So, this is your homeland.
It is.
So the entire land is devastated, so clearly it had to be from the Mon disaster. Why? The lack of even the slightest feeling of, why is this like this? That's so goddamn infuriating. No one is bothering to question what the Mon disaster was. Why? In a realistic setting, every goddamn scholar across the entire world would be working 24/7 to figure out what that might have been. And why it had the effects that it did. Because we know it teleports people. It apparently, like, drains the life from the land or something. We don't know what it does to animals. But even just the difference between how it handles people versus nature, like, that is a wildly different response to what it engulfs. But no one cares. Not a single fucking person cares. It's just like, oh man, my home's gone. I'm so sad. Even though for the past 2 years I haven't cared even the slightest bit about what my family might be doing. And given all the context, like I think I mentioned, I can understand that if that was how I felt about Paul. I think it would have made more sense for him to have an active distaste for Paul because of everything that happened. But, like, he had 2 baby sisters. He didn't even spend a single moment thinking about what might have happened to them. Also, I don't think he's mentioned his mom pretty much this entire time. But, I mean, Paul was 100% right. He focused more on Sylphie than his family. Yet now I'm supposed to believe that he feels sad about seeing his home like this. That's why I say it's weird whenever he does something that makes him seem moral or like a good person. Like, there's so many instances of him disregarding things that later on he seems really bothered by. And it's not like he has an internal conflict about whether or not he actually does care. Like, there's no war in his head over whether or not he actually cares or if he's completely numb to it because he doesn't even recognize them as his real family. Like, playing with fucking fire when I do that. What the fuck caused this?
This is where I take my leave.
I thought they were trying to get Eris all the way
I
back.
am in your debt. The one who actually helped me along was you. And you alone. You hear me? You have incredible talent. Enough to become far, far stronger than I could ever hope to be.
Whatever. You're lying.
And you're still standing. You must realize what that means.
I'm clearly supposed to care, but this character has done so little. Both in the story, in terms of development, in terms of influencing other characters' arcs. Like, also, why is he leaving? I thought they were going to go all the way until they got Eris back home. I think my problem with this moment is it feels like a goodbye for his character, yet if it's not a goodbye, then they're spending a lot of time on this and making it and they're focusing way too much on like the emotion of it instead of focusing on we'll see each other again sometime. And if it is actually like his character is going to be gone after this, what the fuck was the point of his character? This show is in a no-win scenario for me. Because if he's gone forever, why the fuck was he here? If he's gonna come back, why the fuck is he not more interesting? He lands just in the middle of developed enough to matter and completely irrelevant. He lands pretty much right in the middle of those things. Which means whether he's gone forever or whether he comes back, I'm gonna have a fucking problem with it.
Yeah, that's why I want you to have it.
I've completely forgotten what that thing was from.
Don't want to say goodbye. Not yet.
This show does an extremely poor job of making me care about the characters. Everything they're showing of him is just him being extremely fucking angry. Another comparison to Frieren. In half an episode, I think I cared more about Croft than I have ever cared about Ruijerd. The fact that there's no heart to or humor to any of these relationships, it just makes them feel kind of shallow, like all of them. Like your entire dynamic was based around defending each other in combat that we never see, yet we're supposed to believe they're great friends and stuff. Also, if they actually are going to meet again, why the fuck are we doing flashbacks and shit? This isn't even like a Demon Slayer Season 3 finale where they're trying to fool you. They've openly said they'll meet again. That's the first positive memory they've shown. The speed on that grip looks so weird.
But
this is what I'm talking about. He gets emotional over the departure of a traveling companion. But when he's told that his entire family has vanished because of the Mon disaster, his response is, "What about Sylphie?" And in that entire time, he didn't even consider to look for them or think about them. I have a hard time believing he actually fucking cares about this shit. And it just could have been resolved by having him wonder if the Mon disaster affected people other than him. Paul was fucking right. That was really sudden.
There she is.
It's still impossible to take her seriously.
Master Rudius, welcome home.
I'm delighted.
They just fucking happened to stumble across her? Like, what? Is this like a gray rat settlement or something? Like, just happened to be here in the exact area where we happen to be traveling. Also, this show is really bad at, like, reunions. Like, I feel like this is a really big moment for these characters, yet it it made a bigger deal out of Ruijerd leaving.
We've lost Lord Philip, Lady Hilda, and Lord Sauros.
And
Was that her parents,
you're sure
too?
of this?
Lord Philip and Lady Hilda were teleported together and passed away somewhere in the conflict zone.
Oh.
Elaine confirmed this herself.
Where was the conflict zone?
And
Hang on, I need to...
Teleported together, Hilda and Lord Sauros.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Once again, I find myself frustrated by the show's insistence on pretty much exclusively showing Rudy's perspective, when something as chaotic as the Mon disaster would have been a great opportunity to show every character's perspectives for a few episodes to show the progress they made until we meet them later on and show the characters who die, who were like important characters earlier on. Like, fucking Hilda had more development than Eris has had. Yet, she's fucking off-screened after being unmentioned for, 14 episodes.
And passed away somewhere in the conflict zone. Elaine confirmed this herself.
What's the conflict zone?
Eris, you don't have to do a thing he says. Do you understand? You can run away and be happy.
And what will become of the people?
You do something for them.
shut up!
Elaine's voice actor is bad. Spent half the damn pre-turning point with Eris's family and they're fucking off-screened. Peak. Absolute cinema.
And I mean, yeah, I want to do it, but now? Wouldn't I be taking advantage of her?
Yes. You already are.
Oh, what's this?
That's because you're cute.
That means you're turned on right now?
Did they really just hit us with the fucking woo? What's this? This is the part where in a good modern work of fiction, the main character turns the woman down. Because that's the respectful way to handle this. Because having sex to start a family, to cope with your grief, is not fucking healthy. Like, even putting aside the fucking pedophilia, somehow something I keep needing to do. Which is insane. Like, this is just not healthy for either of them. Even if Rudius was born into this world normally, it's just not a healthy moment. He's barely consenting, she's pressuring him, and she's doing it in an overly emotional, grieving state. Like, it's not a healthy thing to do. I say this as someone who's aggressively horny.
I want to be your little kitty. Meow.
Jesus Christ. I refuse to believe that was the proper translation.
私、ルーデウスの子猫が欲しいにゃん。
I mean, a bit, but not anything substantially different. Jesus Christ. Frieren blowing a kiss was sexier than that. Unironically. That's such a cringy fucking line. And I'm... The one thing about me that's not aggressively gooner otaku shit is my opinion on this specific show. Anything else. And I play fucking hentai visual novels. I have paid for hentai visual novels. And that line is so cringy to me that it's actively a turnoff. Yet this fucking 40-year-old apparently that was fucking exactly what he needed to get turned on enough to go from a I want to, but it's not proper right now, to fuck it, let's do it. What the actual fuck is this dumbass nonsense? I mean, props on making me so absolutely befuddled that I can't even focus on how horrible this is. Why is this entire episode like this? Watching her grow up does not make this better! You notice how very little of Ruijerd or Eris's flashbacks involve just a genuinely positive, supportive friendship between equals. Have you noticed that neither of the flashbacks included almost any moments like that? It's just random scenes from across the show involving the character. Doesn't really matter whether or not it's, fitting the scene or the tone that they're even trying to attempt. This is so bad. There's almost nothing about their personal relationships. It's just moments of her doing things. That's not how puddles work. What?
Good morning, everyone! Or rather, great morning.
He changed his tune real quick. I really hate the fact that I almost want to praise the show for not actually showing children having fucking sex. I hate that this show is that horrific that I need to praise the show for not showing children fucking. That is something worthy of praise about this show.
Time to have some fun.
How could
She's
you
not here.
wake up and not
She must
notice
be
she was
embarrassed,
there?
silly girl.
Her hair?
Monogatari time, baby.
Rudius, you and I aren't well matched right now. I'm going away.
Imagine you sleep with a woman and you wake up to that note. Oh my god. That's so much funnier than it should be. Oh my god.
But why? I don't get it.
I hate that it came after they came, but, like, this is by far the most interesting development Eris has had the entire fucking show. Which is infuriating. It should not take this long to get a single interesting development for a character. 22 episodes, and the main female character of the season, for the first time, has done anything fucking interesting. The worst part is I feel like this isn't going to have any substantial effects or consequences. He's just going to... I'm going to guess that next season's going to be focused on Sylphie, maybe Roxy, and he's just going to move on to developing his relationship with one of them instead. And then Eris will come back later, and that's it. He'll have a brief, maybe even up to an episode long period where things are difficult, and then they'll just get back to normal. Part of the problem, though, is I just feel like, where did this come from? Like, yes, this is the more interesting path for the character to take. I just also would say it's interesting because it's out of character. Like, that's what's making it unexpected. It doesn't seem to fit her character. He's more emotional over this than he was over being teleported away from his homeland. I feel like that does a really good job of explaining why I'm critical of that part of him, and why I think his actions so often seem to balance between various different versions of the character. Interesting. Anyway. It's kind of interesting. I don't think I've seen a picture of Eris with short hair, which makes me wonder, is she in season 2? If she is not, I might have to start rethinking certain perspectives I have on this show. Because that's pretty substantial. But it's really going to come down to why. Because I think why she left, the thing she does while gone, will influence whether or not this was actually a good writing decision or just a lazy way to get Rudius to feel bad, to make him sympathetic. Yeah, I think one of the big differences I have between this show and Re:Zero is that with Re:Zero, I trust that writer a lot because he's given me reason to do so far. So when I feel like something is playing the long game in that show, I'm willing to wait it out because I feel like the payoff is actually going to work for it. I don't trust the writer of this series nearly enough to expect any of the payoff for anything it's setting up to be good. I don't trust him to be smart enough to play the long game for this properly. Let's finish it.